Hello everyone, welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And tomorrow, I know most of you are going to be out there looking for bubbles. You might even be doing it today if you think a little bit ahead of time. Excuse me. And you're going to be thinking bubbles. Because that's what people do. New Year's, we're going into 2016, people are going to pop a bubble of champagne, whether they do it at midnight or before. That is the way people roll. Don't want to get on a soapbox about drinking sparkling wine all year. I think it's a very good table wine. I think people are missing out just looking at it as a celebratory wine. It's just great. You try it with clams, oysters, shrimp. You can do it with a cream sauce, chicken, a lot of stuff. Sparkling wine is just fantastic. I got the top 3 choices that people make usually when they're celebrating. You could do Prosecco, Cava, or Champagne. We say sparkling wine in the wine world because the name Champagne is guarded to only those that come out of the region of Champagne in France. And there's actually an organization that protects that name. There's a few that have grandfathered it in. You look at the Corbel, it'll say California Champagne. I think that's an atrocity. I think Corbel should back off and just get it off the label. I don't care if they're grandfathered in or not. But I do not worry about people calling, in general, sparkling wine champagne. That's just the way people roll. It's okay. I don't care. But top 3 wines that people usually choose for celebration are Prosecco, Cava, or Champagne. Sometimes they do Cremant. There's about 8 regions in France that make sparkling wine that are not from Champagne, and they call it Cremant, done in the method Champagne, which we'll talk about. But the first thing we're going to talk about is Prosecco. Prosecco is a hot ticket, probably the fastest selling category, fastest growing category in sparkling wine, especially if the demographics are true at my store around the world. People are all over Prosecco. It's very affordable, it's very clean, it's fruity, it doesn't go through the method Champagne. They use the Charmat method for Prosecco, which means that they do the fermentation in large steel vats. They do the secondary fermentation. It's very clean, it doesn't sit on the lees. They have an apparatus that puts it into the bottle, keeps the bubbles in there. That is Prosecco. It's from the Veneto, which is northeast Italy, near the town of Valdobbiadene, and the grape that is used for Prosecco is Glera, but now they call it Prosecco, and Prosecco is the actual DOC, or the appellation where it is grown. There you go, a little rundown on Prosecco. I'm going to give you a little close-up here of this one. This is called La Luca Prosecco. It rolls in at $15. I've never tried this one, so I'm kind of excited about it. You notice I'm not using a champagne flute. A lot of people that review sparkling wine will use a white wine glass. They get better aromatics. And that might be something you want to try, just because if you do that, maybe you'll start thinking of sparkling wine as something you can do every day. I'm a little disappointed in the Hawks for losing to the Rams. I knew it was going to be a tough game. Rams always play the Hawks tough. I was kind of hoping they'd go into the postseason with a run of wins. So they have to play Arizona next. That's going to be a tough game also. I have a lot of confidence that the Hawks will make it deep into the playoffs, if not to the Super Bowl. Okay, so using a white wine glass, get better aromatics. Of course, I'm not saying use a white wine glass when you're partying with your friends. There's nothing better than a champagne flute. And by the way, you're not there to analyze the wine anyway, right? You're there to drink it and enjoy it. Let's see what we get on the nose. Very muted on the nose. There's not a lot going on. I'm getting just a little bit of bubblegum, like bazooka bubblegum coming through. A little bit of pear. Yeah, I just can't get past that bubblegum. That's not a bad thing. It's just the aromas that you're getting. Let's see what we get on the palate. Typical Prosecco. I actually like this one. It's got a lot of pear action going on. A little bit of pear, a little bit of citrus, and then that bubblegum barely is there. It's kind of lying underneath. A lot of pear front to back, actually, and a little bit of citrus sneaking in right on the finish. It's very dry finish, which I like. Good weight in the mouth. Big bubbles, of course. The finer the bubbles, especially in champagne, the better quality of the wine. That's the way you kind of analyze it that way. This has big bubbles. Not surprised. $15. But I like this one. It's not super complex, but it's delicious. It has a nice clean finish, a little citrus and pear going on. I'm gonna go B- on that. I think it's above average, better than average, and I think it's a good play. I like it a lot. Let's move on. Cava from Penedès, up in, again, kind of northeast, a little bit by Barcelona. This is Castellar Cava Brut, and it is $13. Sorry about the label, guys. I pulled it out of my fridge and tore it. Bummer. Okay. But you're not worried about that, are you? Let's give it a little rinse. Cava's a good play because Cava does it method champagne. So they do the whole thing with the fermentation in the bottle. The bottle's tipped over. Let's grab one of these over here. So imagine this is a champagne bottle. It sits like this. They turn it until all that yeast, expired yeast, goes to the neck. They freeze the neck. They disgorge it. They take all that spent yeast out of it. They dosage. They put a liquid of sugar and wine back in to fill it up. And the sugar level depends on the sweetness that they want, whether they want brut, extra dry, they want sec, demi-sec, whatever it is. That's how they determine that. Then they cap it and usually let it sit for about a year. I'm not sure if Cava follows that particular regimen or not, but the point is that you're getting, this is $13, okay? I'm excited to try this. I haven't tried Castellar in a while, but Cava is such a good play. If you want that kind of champagne feel, you don't want to spend the champagne bucks, go to Cava. It is really cool. I've reviewed some Cavas on here. Amazing values. And if you're kind of into that, you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you want to put on a good party, or maybe if you're just celebrating by yourself and you like the flavors of champagne but you don't want to spend that money, go Cava. Let's see what we get on the nose. Oh, by the way, I just want to mention too that the grapes of Cava are a little different than Champagne. Champagne uses Chardonnay, Pinot Meunier, and Pinot Noir. Those are the three grapes with Champagne. This one is 40% Macabeo, 40% Xarello, and 20% Parellada. So those are grapes you're probably not familiar with, but those are the main grapes of Cava. And now they're allowing some Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in there. But that's a pretty Barney basic blend for Cava. So this one I get a little bit of a yeasty thing going on. This one's very muted too. I get a little bit of like a nuttiness, like almost like almonds. And there's a perfume quality coming through. I really like that. But again, it's not super aromatic. Let's see what we get on the palate. And once again, you know, you're drinking these stuff in flutes. You're not going to get a lot of aromatics out of the flute anyway. But, you know, sometimes you like to get a little bit more than this out of it. Let's see what we get on the palate. What can I say? Has a lot of those champagne qualities. Has that kind of bread, a little bit of bread dough, a little bit of yeast, a little bit of nuttiness to it. I get some pear action with a little bit of apple skin on the backside, and I'm getting an interesting citrus, almost like a grapefruit pith thing going on. More lemon, I guess more lemon. It's got a lot of complexity for $13. This has a fair amount of complexity. I like that. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the mouth. It's got good weight. It finishes nice and dry, nice citrusy finish. Has a little bit of that yeastiness going on. I like that wine a lot. Yeah, 13 bucks. You know, what a steal. Nice and dry, but good. It has some good fruit qualities to it. Has that nuttiness that I like a lot. A little bit of yeast. Yeah, I'm gonna go B plus. I think that's a impressive wine. I like it better than Prosecco for different reasons, mostly the complexity. But yeah, definitely a B plus wine. Let's move on. A lot of you like to go champagne. You just like to do it. I mean, it's that one. Maybe it's that one time of year you really splurge. Maybe your anniversary, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, the holidays, Christmas. You like to splurge a little bit on champagne. I like to splurge with rosé. I love rosé. It's one of my favorite. Of course, they give the color from the red grapes that they use. They're usually a little bit more expensive than their sibling, the Brut. This rolls in at $83. This is the Louis Roederer Champagne Rosé 2009. So this comes from Champagne. These are the guys that make Cristal. 83 bucks. So this isn't chump change, but you might want to splurge on New Year's. Maybe it's you and your significant other together doing the celebration. You want to pull out something a little bit better or more fancy. I shouldn't say better. I haven't even tried it yet, so I'm not saying it's better. You know, more expensive does not translate better. Just always remember that. Obviously, they put more into it when they're more expensive. And the fruit from champagnes are expensive. And that's why a lot of people are looking for alternatives like Cava or Cremant, which is another sparkling wine from France, because they don't want to spend those dollars on champagne. Let's see what we get on the nose. So this goes definitely bread dough. It tastes to me, it smells just like your mom's kneading the bread dough, your grandma's kneading the bread dough. You can smell those smells. It's like passing by a bakery that's working on making bread. You get a little bit of cherry and strawberry coming through, which is not unusual for sparkling wine, and definitely that yeast component coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Very intense. You can huge amount of difference in intensity of flavors on the palate. Nice solid core of acid. You can just, it's kind of laser sharp on the palate. It feels like they blended up a bunch of cherries and strawberries and mashed it with a little bit of yeast and bread dough, and they build it all up and they made this kind of, and then liquefied it into the glass. That's what it tastes like. I'm getting some minerality. I get a little chalkiness coming through on the palate, which I like a lot. It's just got in and then there's this like grapefruit pith finish, and it's just really cool, really intense. I can't describe to you the difference in intensity of these two. Amazingly different intensity. I think the Cava is fantastic for the dollars. 13 bucks, fantastic. I would go there if I don't want to spend too much money. But if you want to splurge a little bit, if you want to find something absolutely that'll blow your palate, go Roederer Rosé. Excellent wine. Even having a hard time spitting that out. I even get a little bit of like wet rocks coming through on the backside of this. I mean, it's just intense. That's the best way I can put it. Just that citrus and the yeast and I'm getting a little bit of almond skin coming through, and all this stuff, making it very interesting, making it very intriguing. You know the difference, I tell you the biggest difference, if you want to kind of put it in perspective and think about what I'm talking about, you would have a hard time, take you a heck of a lot longer, a hell of a lot longer to drink this bottle than it would this bottle, because there's just so much more going on. It's so intense, nice and dry, laser sharp. You'll just sit there and enjoy it. This would definitely last longer. I am going to go one more sip here just to double check. I don't want to get carried away. Don't want to lose my mind here. And that will lay down, seriously, 10, 15, 20 years. Easily. Easily. I'm going to go A. I'm going to go AA+. I think it's a fantastic bottle of bubbles. The intensity is there. The ability to age is there. The enjoyment is there. The delicious factor is there. The acidity is there. This is a fantastic bottle of bubbles. So is a Castellar. For the money, if you're looking for a party, like the Prosecco a lot. Some good choices. I hope you have a great new year. I'm really looking forward to 2016 and what will evolve for my YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching. Maybe you can make a comment. What do you plan on drinking for New Year's? Make a comment. Let me know. What's your plans? Prosecco, Cava, Cremant? What are you going to drink? I'd like to know. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.